Oh, welcome back to this thing. Catechus Ice Cave.
Ice Caves.
So, we have arrived.
Very good, Tiara. Brilliant conclusion.
Is already freezing, and we're just.
Oh, great, we're doing this again.
It's an ice cave.
You're
No.
you're literally doing this dungeon for the second time, and you're still surprised that it's cold.
I just realized we have to redo also the joke with Harley and the heating again.
Sheer willpower, you know?
It's like going to Wales and complaining that it's raining.
In the name of carving fate.
Hey, it's raining here.
In that case, Shiro better at least a sheep, so you can just hug one and get some warmth.
Again, it's this game and Brave with Default. Like such an except Brave with Default at the very least had a brilliant first half. Like whereas this game, like granted, Brave with Default still does it worse. But yeah, this. From the two examples I've been exposed to, I don't really like this thing of a game purposely going back in time and just having us redo the same dungeons again. Even if the story justifies it, it just comes across as lazy to me.
I'm guessing it's worse in Bravely Default because the
Yes.
dungeons are bigger.
No, not just that, Shiroi. Brave with Default. This game only does it once. Brave with Default does it like 5 times. Or maybe even more. I don't know. I kind of lost count by the time we got to the third one. It's so. I'm not even. I've actually played Brave with Default too, by the way.
Not personally, but a bit from a friend.
Let's just say too, the second half that game is one of the biggest nosedives I've ever seen. It's oh god.
Anyway, back to this game. So apparently, what's different is that somebody left capes to keep them warmer. Funny.
I know, right?
Do we find out who it is later, Pedro?
Yes, we do. Don't worry.
Don't stick your hands down your pants.
Yay, Grilly! Now that he's putting his hands on his pants and.
So warm.
Great,
Funny, right?
Don't you see, Dwebs? It's funny because it's gross, and gross things are funny, supposedly.
Filling in my CV is more exciting than this.
Come on. You really are freezing, right, Tiara?
At least that's going towards a good purpose.
One of the caves. I am not freezing. Besides, I'd rather succumb
Why
to disease
is
than
being
thievery.
called unladylike?
That's just the thing, Shiro. It's like Teo said. There's no punchline in the joke. She's just ladylike because she doesn't actually have a reason to be like this. She just is.
Yeah.
It's Compile Heart took this stereotype from the anime stereotype library, and let's just put it in here with no reason.
Oh god,
That's
it's
kind of
Pluto
how
Nash.
all the characters were.
It's Pluto Nash again. Terrible jokes with no punchline.
I'd argue even Pluto Nash eventually found the punchline more than this did. I mean, heck, it had Eddie Murphy.
Funny though.
It had some funny moments. I will give it that.
That one bit where Eddie Murphy punches the mirror and yeah.
I guess one thing.
People thought that so.
Aside from the fact that this game only does it once, I'll also give credit that at the very least this game does a better job at having the cutscenes be more different than Brave of the Default does, at least. I really hate to give credit to this game over Brave of the Default. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jeez. You catch a cold from letting Tiara borrow your cape? What's the point of giving her the cape in the first place?
Teo, why is the game pointing out its own stupidity?
Here.
I don't know, and I don't care anymore.
This should warm me up.
What?
Oh look, it's the exact same boss from the last time.
Let's go, Chewie.
Get ready.
Alright.
Only that this time, well, I forgot. Was this one where Erin died into his mouth or something?
Yes, it was. Let's see if we can defeat it now. No. Unfortunately, the programmers made him a
still need to do that.
the programmers made it a sponge again.
Oh, nice.
Fucking nice.
That's another thing. Teo, have you probably maybe know one that does it even more. Have you ever seen a JRPG that is more like just as sponge loving as this one? Because I don't think I've ever played a JRPG with so many sponge bosses like this.
Final Fantasy 13.
Well, Okay, fine. Aside from that one, because that game is a case in of itself.
Final Fantasy
Here-
13 too.
Well, no, Jova, that game is, to be fair, has less sponges. But here, more than sponges, has, story-driven battles. Stuff that you cannot win on purpose. This game revels in them. It's weird.
But it's okay, guys, because the power of anime Sentai will save us.
Toku Sentai, Toku Sentai. I wish I was watching DBZ abridged.
The way you fight, Bang.
It just doesn't happen.
So it turns out the Fang's fury broke,
Ashamed of yourself, you lousy fury.
and his reaction to it is to get mad at the fury.
Both of you. Now,
It's
if
an
you-
inanimate object.
The fury is broken, then so is the bond that
Yeah,
links the
to be fair, it
Hunter
wouldn't
to
be the
Fury.
first time an inanimate object has screwed over its user. Benten, Green Lantern, the list
I
goes
shall
on.
handle this fight.
There's no way I'm running. You're already worn out.
You may be unharmed, but Aaron is grievously wounded. It is a fencer's duty to care for the well-being of their fairy. Is Tiara actually worried about me? Now I've seen everything. Bang!
Ow.
Fang is apparently being attacked, but again, we cannot actually animate that, so just pretend just pretend he's being attacked, Jova.
Please.
I'm sorry, but that roar, what was up with that roar voice clip there?
It's the boss monster, Jova. Remember, we cannot
No,
actually.
no, 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 no.
Oh
I
no!
get that.
Aaron puts herself in front of him to protect him, and that.
I'll protect you
Oh, yeah.
this time, Bang!
No, I get that it was a monster cry, but that monster cry didn't sound like an actual monster. That just sounded like someone imitating a monster. I mean, I know that tends to be the case, but they didn't
Don't
exactly
Jesus,
clean it
this
up
music.
well.
It's so animated.
Is this Aaron's power?
This is like the golden sword in one finger death punch.
It seems so. Bang! Can you move?
I wonder.
Body feels so light. I feel like I can fly. Let's
Yeah, and we can fly.
Aaron's Fury has powered up. Combo count +1 and Fury from power increased. So
lovely.
basically get a stat boost.
Let's go, Chewie!
And since we already start this battle with max tension and fully fused, it's incredibly easy to just use your ultimate attack and defeat this thing. So there you go. Now we finally get to destroy these things.
Why are there two of them now?
There always were two of them, Jova. Unlimited power!
Power. Unlimited.
Yeah, I decided to skip that animation because we've already seen it. That's another thing, by the way, Jova, that you might find I've already told Theo about this, but he also found it weird. You know what's apparently, and because Rebirth 1 does this as well. Like, compile. You're probably wondering, Sherry, what is the skip animation button of this game? I'm guessing you're probably thinking it's start, right?
Have a piece of the goddess's power.
Well,
Let me guess, it's SX.
And here's the thing, hold on, before I say what it is, the fast forward button is the square button. So you're probably thinking, maybe it's like triangle or something? No, that's the auto button. It's L2. L2 is the skip cutscene / animation button.
Why?
Why L2 of all buttons?
something.
I mean, I get that since you use the right analog stick for the camera, L2 kind of becomes useless. But I don't know, it just feels unintuitive. Usually you expect it to be start or something.
What? You're the one who owes me!
Oh great, more bickering.
You remember?
How lovely.
Yeah.
I'm repeating myself here now,
So
aren't I?
yourself.
Don't worry, Dwebs, just fill out. Don't worry, Dwebs, just fill out that CV.
Surprisingly, not this time, Glibs.
So damn loud.
You're have to
See,
say
even-
something
You
different.
may say
You need fang agrees.
but you're
It's-
still helping each other grow.
I keep saying this again, but like Theo says, pointing out your own problems doesn't make them go away, writers. It doesn't. Oh, and now he's saying, but it's okay. That's you see, guys. The fact that they're bickering means that they're great friends deep inside.
No matter your differences or how much
Thin
you
line
love,
between hate,
you
love,
help each
yada
other
yada
out in
yada
times
yada
of
yada.
need.
Frenemies! Whatever.
You see, Theo. Power of friendship.
Fuck off. There are so many times I can say that, and we're barely 1/4 into. According to Java, just a bit after the first quarter of this fucking playthrough.
Also, yes, your nose is running. Congratulations, that's a perfectly normal bodily function. Shut up.
But
no,
sure,
let's just say Shiri the Tales of Xillia the first Tales of Xillia made that kind of moment much more charming.
Okay.
Alright, and let's see if there's anything new to...
That's what fucking boggles me. All these situations, I've seen other games done better. So what happens when this game makes the situation worse?
Because the writers of this game don't lack any sort of talent whatsoever.
What is your major malfunctioning?
Lack of talent too.
Look at all these sweets. Did someone
This game so desperately wants to be funny, but like you said, it has no idea how to. Like you said it yourself, Theo. This game has no idea how humor works. You need to construct. In fact, let me get the wiki. Might as well. That would be something.
Anyway, hey, we're meeting Harley again.
Searching fairies, and that's why I know who you are.
I see. You're interested, huh?
What? Oh, just so we're clear, I'm not stalking you or anything.
Of course.
You're silly. Of course I don't think you're a stalker.
Huh. Okay, that's one anime cliche I've heard, thank goodness.
Yeah, she's the stalker.
Go on, Pedro.
I probably was face palming. Sorry, but you have to understand that recording this game for at this point in the playthrough, I've recorded like 5 hours of this game, probably even more. I'm miscalculating. All right, each part is like around 30 minutes. Some of them, so. Well, let's pick 45 to run. Let's pick 45 as a roundup. Each part is like 45 minutes. We're at part 18, so by this point I've recorded like 15 hours of this. You have to understand, Jova, that you have to understand, Jova, that my brain eventually starts melting.
You know, after again, as we pointed out a couple of times, we're only a third of the way into this, and honestly, I can no longer complain that I'm stuck with Marble Labyrinth and Scrapbrain for Sonic Genesis. I'm grateful that that's the least I get.
So there you go, Shira. See, turns out, there you go, Shira. Turns out you got, oh great, more Tsunda Masochist.
I got off lightly compared to
it's okay, Teo. It's okay.
No, it's not.
So Shuri, how about that Sonic 1 Omochao edition then?
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I apologize to everybody. My co-commentators have completely lost interest, so
Nah, I'm still kicking.
Yeah, sure. Anyway,
as leader, I have to be the anchor for our toughest situations
Jova
like
keeps
this.
us going.
Oh great!
We need to do this again.
Anyway, while this is going on, trust me, this is basically the same scene. You're not missing anything by me talking over this. Anyway, here's the basic three-part structure of a joke. Here, I'll even copy paste it here from my co-commentators so they can read it themselves. There you go. Alright, basically, audience, for those who may not be so much familiar with this, here's how a joke usually works. Felicitous jokes are often formatted in a style called AAB. What is that? It's where a joke is made up of a set of three, the first two of which share some common attribute, and the third represents a deviation from that attribute, aka the punchline. Under those conditions, the punchline. Rosin gives the following example and exemplifying the structure. For example, some men are about to be executed. Yeah, this actually serves for what Teo has been saying. Remember how Teo keeps saying that you can even make a corpse funny if you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an example. Some men are about to be executed. The guard brings the first man forward, and the executioner asks if he has any last requests. He says no, and the executioner shouts, "Ready? Aim!" Suddenly the man yells, "Earthquake!" Everyone is startled and looks around. In all the confusion, the first man escapes. That's phase 1. Phase 2. The guard brings the second man forward. The executioner asks if he has any last requests. He says no, and the executioner goes, "Ready? Aim!" Suddenly the man yells, "Tornado!" In the confusion, and then the second man escapes into confusion. Then you have the final thing, the punchline. By now, the last man has it all figured out. The guard brings him forward, and the executioner asks if he has any last requests. He says no, and the executioner shouts, "Ready, aim," and then the last man yells, "Fire!"
I didn't know that.
And then this last man, of course, sides. See, this is how you do a joke. You construct something, and then at the last minute you subvert the you build an expectation for the audience, and then you subvert it, and this is what this particular joke does. This game, on the other hand, it does nothing of the sort. It just goes straight to it tries to immediately go straight to phase 3, the punchline. Okay.
I think the insulting thing is the fact that this game actually has done some jokes properly, so they do know how to do humor. It's just like it feels like they're actively choosing to go down the worst route possible. For example, the whole subverting thing with Harley being the stalker instead of, her being the one sought after because of the way she looks and dresses. Normally you'd think, oh, she'd be the one who's chased after, but no, she chases after others, and she's possibly that. Now that's potential for humor, but they blatantly miss the possible jokes that they could possibly do, or when they do get something that works, they overdo it to a maximum extreme.
Except for Lola. I have no idea what the hell is going on with the writing for Lola, because for some reason they've gotten everything right with Lola.
It's almost as if someone completely different from the team wrote her.
Like, Lola feels like she came right out from the Neptunia series, which is kind of fitting because she looks like the kind of age demographic that the cast...
In fact, that's a good point. Do we know how many writers were for this game, or it was just one?
Basically, the Compile Heart team wrote the story and set out the tone and stuff like that, and they hired Takeshi Inoue, the writer of the Death Note anime, to write the actual screenplay.
Wait, the writer of Death Note wrote the screenplay?
The anime specifically. However, keep in mind, Jova, that even if he's the screenwriter, that doesn't mean he's the one in control, because...
No. Look, I get that. But screenplay means he was in charge of dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this dialogue... Look. The story itself is a mess, but there's so much more you could have done with the dialogue. Heck, as Ken and Pontap have shown in Sonic Colors, even though they weren't in charge of the story, the dialogue was some of the best in a Sonic game. So, no, just being in charge of screenplay for a game like this, you should have been able to give us some better dialogue.
Well, heck, even though they've really gone downhill, I mean, as we've seen in Rise of Lyric, they can still get character interactions right at least.
Yeah,
but Rise of Lyric was written by by BRB's writing team.
I thought, never mind.
It was Sherry Crystal that was done by Pontac and Graf.
Actually, Rise of Lyric was sort of had some of the Boom TV series writers on board.
Well, that too. Well, the point is, Jova, they don't have Pontac and Graf on Rise of Lyric. That's the basic point I'm trying to make.
Although they did seem to get better with the sequel to Shattered Crystal, but yeah, anyway, though, going back to what I was saying, with this, though, do we know the specific writers? Because...
Compile Hearts, the same people who gave us Neptunia, because there's a lot... Okay, here's the thing. Okay, let me before you say anything, Jova, let me give an example. For example, I've now gotten the PS3 trilogy of Neptunia, because I'm the one doing those particularly free for the channel, obviously. To give you an idea, there's jokes in the first game, the first Neptunia game for the PS3, okay, this is clearly made by the same people who made Fairy Fencer F. It's because there's a lot of lines in that game that really feel like they came straight out of this game. Like, for example, they find IF. For those who don't know, IF is the third playable character you find in the first Neptunia. And she starts questioning everything, and then Neptunia literally says, and I'm quoting here, I'm kind of an amnesiac, so you're gonna have to explain things to me in a way that the player can understand. Like, it's one of those things, like, it's the same kind of humor that I just don't think it's well put together, because this is not a joke, because like I've just explained, you need a free act structure for a joke to work, and that all the game is doing is, get it? Fourth wall breaking, it's funny. Like, it's not... It's the kind of humor that this game does the same thing. Oh look, it's the boss. I guess I gotta fight the boss. Like it's like a game. Fourth wall breaking humor needs to be done with more tact. You can't just point out that you're in the game. That's not a joke. You need to build up on that. Anyway, maybe let's try to.
Anyway, though, but yeah, do you actually know the specific cast writers though?
Well, the thing is, Jova, it's kind of
again. I know, but do you actually know the staff who was in it?
the Neptunia people? From what I know, it's from the Neptunia team. I don't know the exact names.
Just check on IMDb.
I'm gonna do that.
Oh, okay, hold on. Harley wants to quote unquote examine Aaron, so obviously we're going to use this for a molesting joke.
And this is the music they thought that was a good idea.
You're gonna have to show me how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Yeah!
No, thank you.
That's so charming.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
See, again, she's the stalker. She doesn't get stalked because she is one.
It is, isn't it absolutely wonderful how the people who made this game have absolutely no concept of boundaries and taste?
What the heck happened here? Like,
we still get to enjoy Bahas's free food.
Let's just let Aaron get molested while we eat Bahas's food. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Jova, you're good at playing devil's advocate. Oh, hold on. And now all of a sudden, guys, suddenly the game decides to be legitimately funny. Let's do this properly. Dwebs, get back here. Let's actually do this cutscene properly, because believe it or not, they're actually going somewhere with this cutscene. Amazing. Whatever. Go ahead, Shiri.
Oh, I haven't said anything.
Okay, basically the point is Tiara has a great idea, so let's see what she has to say.
Okay.
Your great ideas are hardly ever great. Alright, alright, Jova, while Dwebs is gone, you be Aaron.
I'll be Aaron.
It's for a good cause. Oh.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry, I mistook. Sorry.
You're both from the future. You know about incidents and accidents that haven't happened yet, right?
Yes. So.
Like this game.
Once again, okay. So, sorry. Go ahead.
So couldn't we warn people in advance that thereby prevent all injuries and property damage?
Oh my god! Someone is actually using their brain.
Oh. Well, we can't have that, so...
Hey, get with the program, idiot!
Yeah, see, the smart people are the stupid.
You're being such a goody two-shoes right now. You should obviously be asking about long shots at the horse races, you know? Hold on. Believe it or not, Tail. Hold on. Believe it or not, the game is going somewhere with this. Remember, our job is to make the player laugh.
Huh.
Hold on, Jova. I know what you're gonna say, but this scene is exactly what I was talking about. I know, but I'll go in detail about why this scene works compared to what I was saying. Hold on, Shiri, go ahead.
It was actually funny, and then they ruined it with that.
Go on, Shiri.
Make the player laugh? I never agreed to that at all. Oh, yeah, good. I can see that.
Now this is what I see.
No. Just it gets even better. Hold on.
Now, stop racking your brain all the time and just take things easy for a change. Why don't we just forget about this whole reviving the goddess thing?
Yes, come on. Who needs saving the world? Come on, let's go to. Let's pack things up and go home.
Saving the world is overrated.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Hold on, it gets better.
What are you saying? You're behaving rather strange.
You're actually somewhat funny now, all of a sudden.
Yeah, what?
The game even finds its funny moments out of place. Like it's so. This game is such a.
Things improving.
This is so meta.
There's nothing wrong with us at all. How does a game like this get made? Now then, Fang will go ahead and start singing!
No, God, please, no.
Hold on, Teo.
Yay!
No.
What has happened to you two?
We decided to actually be funny for once.
You know, I have to wonder if different writers took over for the second story.
And it was a dream.
Huh? What?
See, this works because, you see, if the game only reserved fourth wall breaking for this scene, it would have worked much better. You know why? Because
isn't that like that sequence in Teen Titans Go when they dreamed the original cartoon?
No, it's not that.
But let's just say that's not.
Let me explain. Let me explain why I find that funny. The reason I find that funny is because that works much better. Because okay, the game, when it tries to do the actual fourth wall breaking joke in the actual real scenes, it doesn't work because this one, however, works because, again, it's not only does the game kind of, make you feel weird that they're going so out of their way to break the fourth wall, but also it's a dream, so it makes sense for the game to just completely go bonkers. It's all just a fever dream that she had.
Even if it wasn't a dream, there are a couple of lines in there that were actually genuinely funny.
This was a good excuse. Right? This was actually a good excuse and a good setup for fourth wall breaking. What the fuck is going on with this game? Why is it that one moment we're watching a terrible molestation joke that is uncomfortable, and all of a sudden the game suddenly becomes smart again? What the fuck is happening with this game? I don't understand.
That one good joke also gives me a good segue. It's like, well, yeah, this is what I expect from a game written by Compile Hard. See, with Neptunia, the reason they do fourth wall jokes more there is because they do it because it works, because the premise is literally video game console wars, so it makes sense for the setting, so it works there. And when they do the jokes, they make sure that, well, if it's something like pedophilia, the villain's the one who does it, and they recognize that it's wrong while having a funny scene, but also teaching people it's wrong instead of having the supposed good guys be the perverts in question. And yeah, again, that actually felt like Neptunia there for a bit, in the good way. So, yeah, it is weird. Did they, have some new interns working for them on this game, and, eventually halfway through, that's when they actually figured out how humor works?
I don't know, Jova. I honestly have no idea, because, guess what? After this, the game goes back to its traditional shit structure. So I don't...
Well, it's been a weird pattern, because sometimes the game has actually been good, narrative-wise, and then it's gone back to being bad. It's really weird. Well, and like you said, I mean, okay, for as little or as less as the other halves
Hold on. What's up? Did you hurt your butt again?
Yes, it resembles a blue peach. Wait, what are you making me say?
You see, and now we go back to a stupid ass joke. It's amazing. It's amazing how this game. It's like there's two writers. One has a brain.
Actually, I checked. Apparently, it's like with Pedro said. Toshiki Inoue is the only one credited.
Huh. Weird. So
he probably has ADHD or something. No, it's pronounced Toshiyuki.
So it sounds like they got
I'll give you a link.
No, I believe you. Don't worry. I'm fine.
It sounds like they got a guest writer then. I mean, no other cast from the Neptunia.
Well, I actually wonder if instead of being cohesive, he actually took ideas from the rest of the team. It's kind of like what Hino does when he has ideas for new yokais, only Beast got way out of hand and horribly wrong.
That would explain a lot, actually. So basically, this is suggesting that instead of a usual Neptunia team, it's new blood, but taking idea for the Neptunia games.
But the truth of the matter is that this is still being the truth of the matter that the Neptunia team is still the one making the game in general. So you would think. So you would think they would still go out of their way to at the very least make sure the writing is up to snuff.
That's essentially what perplexes me.
Even though, personally, again, from what I've played, I've only played Neptunia 1 and Rebirth 1, which I've been told by Jova that's not a good example at all. Even Rebirth 1, from what he's told me, is not a good example. So which makes me wonder. I mean, yeah, the gameplay of Rebirth 1 is literally the same as this game, so I'm fine with that. Which makes me wonder, though, if they went to the trouble of remaking the first game, wouldn't it make more sense to correct the writing as well? But whatever.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it goes into how much you want to contain or withhold the original essence of the original.
Pedro, according to you, a couple of very inappropriate jokes were actually fixed in this one. So a job was done, but only marginal, apparently.
Well, again, keep in mind too, I've only played like up until the point where we meet.
I'm talking about this game.
Sure. Okay, for comparison's sake, I've only played Rebirth 1 up until the point where we meet Vert, aka Greenheart. Yeah, basically Shiroi, the Xbox stand-in.
So you haven't gotten to the parts with Noir yet?
Well, Noir, we meet Noir before we meet. What? Actually,
no, I mean the other part with Noir.
No, not yet. Well, I mean, okay, you guys know what I mean, right? I got to the point.
Yeah.
The point is, I got to Vert. And the humor in that game is still. I kind of quit. I even have to stop playing that game and just let that one to Joe because I just find the game so boring. I don't like the characters. I don't like the humor. The humor is, I guess, better than the one in this game, if anything, because although it still has that moment.
The humor is better, but I will say that in terms of having the complete narrative and stuff, yeah, Neptunia 1 has that first.
My problem with both Neptunia 1 and Rebirth 1, regardless of which version, is that one, it still has stuff like this in this game. Like for example, when Kampa and Neptune first meet, and then we have that stupid scene where she's putting bandages on her, and of course we take advantage of that to do fan service, even though Neptune is an underage girl, because that's great.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my only main gripes with Neptunia, the fact that the setting imposes some of the jokes in a sense that your party is essentially composed by, lollies.
I'll just say this.
The weird thing is that they seem to switch ages here and there. Like, well, in the later sequels...
Hey, Dweebs, you haven't missed anything, don't worry.
I'll just say this before we...
Hey, Dweebs, you missed the best joke so far.
What, this game?
No, an actual good one.
It's just one of those things, like, to me, when it comes to the whole JRPG deconstruction thing, I just find Snack World to do this so much better anyway. So honestly, I don't really. I'm just not really compelled to get into this developer, honestly. Anyway, so see you for the next part, everybody.
Yeah.
See ya.